and welcome to Cruising with Kayfabe. I'm Mongo.
I'm Emily.
And today we got to talk about the fallout from All Out, like my alliteration there, because wow, what a weekend this has been.
It's been so exciting to have such a great pay-per-view. The lead up to it was great. I loved just the intertwining stories across the board right now.
No, it's great. And like you said on our Road to episode, cheap plug, go check it on our YouTube. Make sure you like, subscribe while you're there as well. That you loved this build to it because you were finally invested. You said you were kind of tiring of the Death Riders, and you were just ready for something fresh. And I think this kind of gave you a little bit that spark back. Not that you lost it, but
no, it was definitely like, I don't really care about this story anymore. I'm over it. Everybody heard me complaining and bitching and moaning about the Death Riders and how over I was of them. But now you've got fresh stories being added into it. You've got different layers of it all happening. And I don't want to put any spoilers out there yet. However, there's so much that we're going to go into depth about with the Death Riders, head to toe. Every single one of them is making a transition right now in stories. And I'm excited to talk about where I think they're all leading.
I mean, if you watch our prediction show on Friday, we had a few people in the comments kind of saying this is a Death Riders infested card. They're kind of involved in every match, and they really were. I mean, we start out with the tailgate brawl, which was the pre-show. I enjoyed the tailgate brawl. There was a little bit of confusion behind it because people couldn't figure it out where it was. It was basically the second hour collision on Saturday, so it was on TNT and it was on Max. I enjoyed it. It reminded me a lot of Sunday Night Heat back in the day for WWF, where you had a few matches before the main card, but you got to kind of see that arena. So if you hadn't bought the pay-per-view yet, you kind of saw what you were missing. So it was a great way to kind of show, like, here's what the venue looks like tonight. Here's what the stage looks like. Here's what the action looks like tonight. Tune in now on HBO Max for $40 or blah, 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 or buy it. And they did a good job because, you start off with the Ops and the Workhorsemen. And we're big Workhorsemen marks. I mean, we've been following them since Limitless, now at DPW. So it's always great, like you always say, to see those people you kind of cheer for when you see them on the indies.
I definitely love me some JD Drake. I don't know what it is. He just is so personable and awesome to talk to. He will give you whatever it is you're looking for, whether you're a child or an adult. If you are just looking to talk about wrestling, he'll give you that. But
want to talk about bowling? He'll talk about bowling.
Yeah, like he's amazing at bowling. He is someone that you just don't expect to see coming, and I love it.
And Anthony Henry is just like, not only is he in like some of the best shape I think I've ever seen him in, not that he was ever in bad shape, but he's an incredible worker. So they didn't really get a long match with the Ops, but it did what it did. It got Samoa Joe and Hobbs on the main card, got the crowd going. But what I really enjoyed was the transition to the next match, because the next match was Garcia versus Shibata. So as the Ops are leaving, they kind of like tagged in Shibata, and I like that aesthetic because we were about to see something different. No more fun dancing music with Garcia. New music, new haircut, new threads, new vibe, new entrance. Marina kind of dressed, like you kind of mentioned earlier, dressed to the nines to kind of invoke that new Death Rider. And she dressed differently for each match, which I think you'll probably point out. But we had a new attitude Garcia. We kind of had the old school Red Death.
Yeah, and again, like the haircut, not really a fan of. However, seeing Marina interacting with him is almost like nurturing and motherly. I really enjoy that. I think that it gives a different perspective to Death Riders. And seeing Marina opening up differently, her hair was down. It was like really nicely done.
Like ready to be here to be the friend.
Yeah, like she looked like she was almost
like supporting. Like she was a supporting character. Yeah.
And her outfit was really nice. She went from wearing a bunch of like, spandexy workout style clothing to now wearing something dressed up, almost like going on a date. But again, it was a nurturing, not like romanticized.
Yeah, almost like it was a different kind of vibe. You had like this almost street fight atmosphere. Like when you watch Fast and the Furious and you see these gritty racers, and then you see the women on the side with their hair all done up, their big hoop earrings. I think it was kind of like that vibe, like the underground fight club kind of vibe. And that's what Garcia really did. He kind of channeled the inner John Moxley, the old school Red Death. He was violent. He was brutal. I mean, you begin the match with him putting Shibata's head through the stairs, Daddy Magic trying to stop him, then he drop kicks the stairs into his head, and we all know the injuries Shibata's had.
So to be able to turn your emotional side off and to become one of these Death Riders, for Garcia, who was very charismatic to now have to dull that down. And again, like, you have to be liked by the fans to be hated by the fans. So
Makes
to
sense.
get him over with Jericho and being part of the Appreciation Society, and now turning him complete opposite heel, and not just any kind of a heel, the low digging heel. He is like,
I'm gonna fuck you up. I'm gonna hurt you. I'm gonna ruin you.
he doesn't care about you anymore. His emotions are taken away. He has no soul. Red Death is activated.
Now, we talked about this a lot before, but remember in that Renee Paquette interview from last year, he said, "Look, I don't agree with them putting the bag on Brian's head, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do." And he felt the impasse, like you said. He was in the Jericho Appreciation Society. He turned down the BCC once. He turned down Brian. And he regrets that, obviously. He regrets not taking the chance on himself, and now he is. And, I mean, we saw the end of the match where he grabs both his arms and he puts his foot on the back of Shibata's head, and he just drives his face into the mat, just brutally ending the match, and pins him with a middle finger.
So one of my favorite holds are these submissions, like, done up with the twisting. That incredible pretzel-like twisting, and to not see both legs locked in, I was kind of questioning, like, is this the pin? What is this? And then for him to just drive him as hard as he could, I was like, oh, that was to get like longevity and more flexibility to
get that leverage,
make him eat that mat. And
then knowing Shibata's had his history with his head injuries and what forced him out of New Japan, like the storytelling is someone who he respected so much that he had these rivalries with for the Pure title. He's now saying, fuck your injuries. He's kicking his head in, and it's brutal. I'm excited to see more for Garcia.
And turning down the BCC when Brian was trying to take him in is really telling at the moment, because this is the Garcia that got signed. This isn't the
sports
entertainer. Like, this isn't, that style of wrestling for him anymore. This is the technical. This is that nitty gritty, that down to the dirt. He's going to show everything he was signed for. And that's exciting. And I'm excited for everyone else to see why we love Garcia so much.
And he teased that match with Zack Sabre Jr., so please give me that match. And then next up, we had our first kind of fun match fitting out this tailgate theme. And when I think of tailgates, I think of going to like Gillette Stadium or going to other football venues and being with my brother, having the barbecue, having the beer pong table. And this match kind of showed the vibe of this. You had the conglomeration taking on the frat house, and they had beer pong tables. They were acting like college kids. You had Preston Vance sighting after we already had an Alan Angel sighting this week, so almost like a little mini reunion. And you had Griff Garrison. Like, who the fuck is Griff Garrison? He's back in Big 2025. So what do you think about it?
I thought this match was really great. Fun, entertainment. I think that it brought a little bit of everything. Just like every pre-show does, this was telling you, hey, these are the stories we have going on. However, this is wrestling, and this is fun, and you can have fun with wrestling. I think the whole conglomeration aspect has always just been entertaining as fuck.
I feel like it's the new version of the Best Friends, because it's like everyone's kind of in it. Everyone has fun. Everyone's just there. Everyone has different abilities. I'm not saying it's replacing the Best Friends, but I feel like it's filling that void until we get that back. Like, but you have Kyle O'Reilly, like, yeah, I'm your friend. I'm your friend. And then you have Roderick Strong, who just doesn't really want to be with Hologram. And, before we get to the main event of the pre-show, we had a backstage segment with a conglomeration after where Kyle O'Reilly was on the phone, because there's going to be something happening that you're going to be very excited for, or whatever.
Be very excited for. I am very excited because
whatever.
Orange Cassidy is back. He's coming from wherever. He's going to be doing whatever
in Pittsburgh on Wednesday. So obviously we'll tell you why the challenge came about a little later, but that's kind of ties into the conglomeration feel, because they're doing more conglomerating, and I'm happy and I'm here for it. And then we'd get to the main event of the Tailgate Brawl, the 8-woman tag match or tornado tag match. It was pure. It was insanity and chaos. They were using fucking cooking utensils. It was everything I could have wanted and more.
I don't think they could have delivered that any fucking better. Every little piece of that was magic. Absolutely ate that up. I was laughing. I was like shock face. I could not love that match more. It was everything.
Queen Amanada doing the little, like, where she pushes him into the butt, and then Mina kind of like
Chocolate kisses, thank you.
And Mina's kind of like thrusting to it. You had Harley, who probably got the biggest pop of the group, which got my heart for Harley. Like, we love Harley. If anyone watched this Frame Time, they know that. You had Megan Bain literally throwing Penelope Ford. It just, every girl in there, Sky Blue and Julia, like everyone in there played their part to a T. They all got involved. They were all crazy chaotic. Give me blood and guts, because they showed that they were willing to go out there and just tear it up. And yeah, it wasn't a bloody, violent, hardcore match, but it was a fun match that it got me ready for the fucking pay-per-view.
And Willow got the pin. Phenomenal. Exactly what I was hoping to see.
You called that down to a T.
I really wanted her to be the one to kind of show she's the top of this part of the roster, because I feel like this part of the roster has been feuding for months, in and out. Every story is entangled. She has been the one taking them on and really working with all of them, and I love it.
I guess you could say if it was sports team, she was like the team captain, because when they all entered, they all did Willow's little kick, remember?
Yes.
So that makes sense. She's definitely like the team captain, if you were to think of that. But it was great. But then 3 o'clock Eastern time, pay-per-view rolls around, and I love it. They started with a cold open. They started with Cope and Cage, Cage and Cope. I'm going to call them both because they call them both. Walking backstage, seeing legendary hockey players that he grew up with. But then what popped me the most, and even Emily like was giggling her ass off, they fucking run into Bubbles. Like, what the actual fuck? They're in Toronto and they run into one of the Trailer Park Boys. Like, how hilarious was that?
So if you aren't aware of how much they've intertwined Trailer Park Boys with AEW, in their game Rise to the Top, you could get like Bubbles and the Trailer Park Boys into the game.
Oh, you could?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Like, I had to stop playing, guys. It was getting rough, okay?
Lots of microtransactions.
So I stopped playing. However, like, I do love the game, and it was just very time consuming. So not embarrassing at all. So I think that seeing the Trailer Park Boys being part of this, just again, it showcases why AEW is just such a great place to be at, head to toe.
And, you know, if anyone's watching any of the Trailer Park Boys, they have referencing to wrestling all the time. There's some great clips. Check on my TikTok at It's Mungo. I've actually posted some in the past. But then we see the GB. I don't want to like say his name because it's awkward, but
Green Bee.
And he's just there with the 24/7 belt with the GB initials, and we all know it's really Bubbles, but it's entertaining. And you're like, okay, you got the vibe. Like, Cope and Cage are ready to go out there. They go out to the ring. Metalingus hits. Alter Bridge. The entire crowd's singing it. And when that part hits, can you feel the love? And Edge is just vibing. Oh man, I just felt that in every fiber of my being. The Toronto crowd serenading Copeland. But Christian, don't worry, you got serenaded too, because he came out to his music and everyone's chanting that he's our asshole, and he was basking in that moment, and it started that match off perfect for me.
That wasn't even the best part of this match. Feel-good moments were still to come.
There's so many feel-good moments in everything. You'd have a great match back and forth. Again, I saw a lot of reports online saying the crowd sucked. I thought the crowd was fantastic. I think...
Did the crowd suck because they chanted for Cena? Is that why you think that?
Yeah, and we'll bring that up real quick because I love that earlier on SmackDown, you had John Cena doing a tribute to Edge. WB chose to ignore it. Mike Cole was, he's giving a tribute to the big dog. No, it was Edge. Well, then Edge, obviously, Copeland wants to return the favor, so he does the 5-knuckle shuffle. You can't see me, the attitude adjustment. And the crowd respectfully gives a chant to Cena because obviously it's Cena's last year he's retiring. And I just think it's great that you can have friends giving respect to each other because anyone who was wrestling history, Edge and Cena had a historic rivalry. And it was an awesome moment. And honestly, the only people who hate it are just miserable people anyway.
Yeah, maybe you don't deserve to watch good wrestling.
And that's what it was, because it was a fantastic match with FPR. Fantastic chance. I mean, at one point you had, oh, Christian, please be our dad. Can't you be my dad? Like, just everything was entertaining. Christian being the asshole heel, but not really a heel. You had Copeland, excuse me. It's hard to say them both at the same time. Kind of having him do the work. And then, Stokely starts to interfere. And then the Titantron or the movie
moment
hits.
Emily's been calling for forever.
The one time you don't call it on the show, by the way.
I know.
You've been calling this since Marina got involved with Copeland in the title match.
I know.
But you see the fire on the screen, and I was like, it's Beth Phoenix. Like, no, it's not. No, it's not. I'm like, there's a Phoenix on the screen. And Beth Copeland comes out. The Glamazon comes out, takes out Stokely, carries him back. Cope and Cage would win, but then they would blindside because good old friggin' matriarchy, whatever we'll call him now, distracts him. Nick Wayne in the wheelchair.
Which Rachel called.
She
the
did.
Waynes come out.
And they got blindsided. Copeland got handcuffed, and then they attacked Beth Copeland, who tried to fend off
She
FTR.
gave him her kiss goodbye.
I got this, babe, and then just
got him, and then they got her, and it was
So that's how we start. Oh, we have such a roller coaster. You have the Trailer Park Boys reference. You have the John Cena reference. You have the fun match. You have Beth Copeland making a surprise debut, and then she gets taken out back there. So this feud is not done, and I'm here to see more of it.
Tell me she's all elite. Because when I look at that commentary table and you see Brian and he's going...
He's very intrigued. Very intrigued.
You gonna bring Brie in?
And, feel-good moments wouldn't stop anytime soon, because then, after 16 long months, Eddie Kingston would finally make his return to take on Big Bill. A lot of people were kind of upset with this match, but I'm going to put it out here. He's been gone for 16 months with a serious ACL injury. He had issues with insurance, rehabbing. It's a very well-known story if you look it up. That was his first match back, and I'm going to give him slack, because realistically, nerves, Big Bill was trying to work safe. I don't criticize this match. I'm just happy to see Eddie back, and that's to me what this match is. Eddie Kingston's fucking back.
So, a lot of what people don't understand is that coming back from an injury like that, you need to take it easy at first. You can't just go
so much mental
completely into this. You need to come back and get the one out of the way. Ring rust is real and it's a thing, and shitting on it is, it's really not okay.
And things happen. I mean, I've seen matches where people who have wrestled 24 times that have botches. It's going to happen, and I just think that people were too critical. And again, Eddie Kingston's back, and then he was about to get attacked. It wasn't Chris Jericho, but Hook. So apparently Hook and Eddie Kingston, I think, will be a fantastic combination or a thing. So sign me up.
I also want to point out, during our show, we talked about how this is such an odd pairing. So again, that's another reason the match, the chemistry wasn't exactly going to be there, because they were a very odd match to begin with.
But it did what I think it did what it was supposed to do.
They elevated the stories, and again, we didn't get Jericho back, but you never know. It's wrestling. Jericho's a troll. We don't know. We're not going to give up hope.
I called Motor City Machine Guns for like 3 years on this show. You've been calling AJ Lee and Beth Phoenix for like 3 years on this show. Listen, we don't give up until we have to give up. And so far, Wendy Richter is the last one you're holding out on.
Wendy
Richter!
Although finding out that she was from Texas is really disappointing, not to see her at All In looking back.
I know, what the hell. But hey, they're going to Texas again soon, so you never know.
We just got to keep Googling Wendy Richter, get her trending. Okay, that's the goal.
Richter!
Get Wendy trending.
Can you imagine Windsor and Richter in the same aisle,
oh my
Tony?
Gosh, yes.
But speaking of trending and crazy, we would have... I didn't know what to expect with the tables and tacks match.
One of my favorite matches of the night.
Can we call this match the match of 1,001 tacks? Because that was probably the most thumbtacks I've seen in my entire life.
And Briscoe put the majority of them out before the match was even in the ring.
Just covering the mat.
He covered the whole mat with them, and then MJF would bring out more later on.
And covering a table with it. And then poor Briscoe's got them all in the back of his head. The referee had them all in his shoe. We shared that picture on our socials.
Bryce was
the froggy bow into the table of the tacks, like everything. The Cactus Jack tribute outside of the ring, MJF getting a J drill into the tracks, Briscoe being thrown into like these men put their bodies on the line. This was such a bloody and brutal and violent and everything I thought and more. Props to Mark Briscoe. Did not think he was going to get the win. I'm so happy he did.
And with the J driller into the tack.
Which makes sense because he's been invoking his brother's name. You've been saying that. You've been the only one who's kind of said, no, he's been talking about Jay too much. And I like that you were one of the only people. I think you and Rachel were the only ones who really said, no, it's Mark. Because you guys.
I should really share the notes for this between Rachel and I. We killed this.
You guys pretty much killed the entire, you called all the spots and called who was going to win.
The only thing we didn't get was Hammerstone.
It's someone else you've been calling forever, but it's all gonna happen. It's all gonna happen eventually. And I also love, I'm going to put out, MJF put over Mystico and Mark Briscoe in 24 hours in two different countries. So he's in Mexico Friday having a brutal, bloody match. And then he's in Canada on Saturday having a brutal, bloody match. And now he's going to go film a movie and have his honeymoon. Like, the man loves what he does. And you can say whatever you want about MJF, but props to him, because that match, that feud with MJF and Briscoe was everything I could have wanted to be. And I think that was a great conclusion to see Briscoe kind of get the comeuppance at the end.
And I want to point out that this isn't normal attire for MJF to wrestle in. So to still be as great as he was in the ring, hitting every move like he did, I think that really does showcase a lot. He normally wears little trunks, and he's out there in full pants.
Little trunks for the little kosher pickle.
Up to his elbow, just like Bryce had. You have so many elements that go into this. And
the mouthful attacks. Ooh, that cringy.
Yeah. These men will be pulling tacks out. We'll share some pictures. These men will be pulling tacks out of their asses for probably a couple days.
See, I would just be going to Home Depot, get one of those big industrial bags and just waving it over myself to make sure I got them all.
I don't think Briscoe can do that.
Yeah, I think Briscoe had him in every orifice.
Yeah.
I think if there was an opening or a piece of flesh, Briscoe had attacking it.
Well, we know who had the heavy flow.
Yeah, Fightful. Shout out to Fightful for putting that picture with MJF. And the bloody red pants, and I'm just like, oh my god, because that was the first thing Emily goes. She goes,
"This is like okay.
Is this a commercial for feminine products?" I'm like, oh my god.
I'm going to touch on this because this is something. If you are a person that designs gear, I have a great suggestion for you. When you're designing gear for a death match, yes, you want the white, but what if you just put like a triangle of black between their crotch, because you know that the bloody foreheads are going to be put into the crotches, because you know they're going to do tombstones, they're going to do all these crazy moves. So just put some black in there, and then it will hide the heavy flow. We don't need to see it.
2025 wrestling podcast, and we're talking about heavy flow and putting triangles on pants, ladies and gentlemen.
I've got some ideas if you're a gear designer.
Well, anyway, moving on to the next match, we have the Demand, a.k.a. Ricochet and GOA. I don't know if I like the Demand, taking on the Hurt Syndicate. Now, Emily really called a lot with this about MVP's ring rust and his abilities. This was a fantastic match, but the GOA and Ricochet got an upset victory, and they pinned MVP. And there's been rumors and innuendo that MVP wants to add younger talent to the Hurt Syndicate. Is he going to be the liability? Because really the first big loss they have is because of MVP.
And they definitely are going to need a third man, because it cannot be MVP after that match. That was brutal. I don't see him getting into another match, not because he can't.
He told it in the story.
He cost them the match. So I don't think storyline-wise he can get back in the ring with them. I think they're going to need that third person, but now, who does that become? Because, again, Cedric Alexander shattered our hopes and dreams of that happening.
But there's so many people on Ring of Honor where I even think of. There's so many people
but
on the roster that we're not thinking of. And honestly, there could be people that... AEW is good. You know, for people who say they don't tell stories, it's because you're not watching them. There's a story here. I guarantee they're going to pull something like, oh my god, I forgot they interacted. Because when he first came in, they interacted with like everyone.
And the best part is that when we thought Cedric Alexander was coming into the Hurt Syndicate, they gave us a swerve ball. Gave us MJF. Complete, yet curveball.
No, I like swerve ball. That's funny.
They did not take in the person that you thought was coming in. Instead, they came by and took kind of the polar opposite. You got MJF in the Hurt Syndicate. Very, very unexpected.
And that could still be run back at some point. MJF's in like 1,000 stories, so...
That's the best part about AEW at the moment. They're all intertwined.
Swerve still's unfinished business with Bobby Lashley. He's never gotten his rematch. So there's so many people that could be intertwined. And that's one thing, before we move on to Rio and Monet, the best thing about this pay-per-view is it showcased the absolute incredible depth of AEW's roster. How talented and deep their roster is, because... you're missing Kenny Omega, you're missing Ospreay, you're missing Swerve. Those are kind of been like their big three for a while, and they still pulled off this incredible card. So shout out to AEW for that, because, I mean, there wasn't really a match on the card where I'm like, why'd we even have that match? And I'll admit it, Mercedes Moné versus Rio, I was very vocal that it just feels like it's there to set up her next feud. I'll eat words. I'll eat my crow on this one. I'll eat whatever you want to call it. It was a great match. I thought Rio and Moné had great chemistry. Moné came out on top. Rio was able to kind of work with it. You called it with her Joshi style, how Mercedes kind of is working that style, and they meshed well together, and it was very entertaining.
I enjoyed this match, and I can say that might be the first Rio match I've ever enjoyed. Her size was not shown. I think that it was more believable to watch what she can do. Not that she can't do the things she can do, it's that sometimes the way that she escapes a pin because she is smaller than her opponent, I just really enjoyed that they were the same size and that their chemistry was just so perfect.
Like they weren't making her like David versus Goliath all the time.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
that's fair.
because you don't always want to see an underdog in an underdog role. You want things to look like they should be. And I think her strength was shown, her aerials were shown,
flexibility,
every little piece of Rio and Mercedes.
And that just
We're up
shows
there.
how good Mercedes is. And, I was one of the people in WB for a while where I liked Sasha Banks and a lot of people didn't. And I was like, listen, I like her. I think she's one of the best workhorsemen. I think her and Bayley, I've always said her and Bayley were like 1A, 1B
But
to
it
me.
felt like they never trusted her, and we've touched on that.
And I think now this run has been generational for her. And people can say what they want. I'm not just talking about the belt collector, but she has yet to have like a stinker in AEW. Like people can point to the All-In Britt Baker match not living up to expectations, but there's injuries there. Every match Mercedes is having has been a fantastic match, and she's really elevating all these different women. And really, I think her impact is why we had so much women on the card on All Out. And again, you want to talk depth of roster, the women's division is incredibly deep and talented. And this match showcased, and I don't know who's next for Mercedes. Maybe Willow finally getting her title back, but who's next for Mercedes? So before we go on to Okada, who's next for Mercedes?
I still think it is Willow that will eventually take that, which is why I think Willow is leading the pack as far as not the middle of the division, but that side of the division
Upper
has
mid-card's
really, yeah, like the TBS title is nothing to, look at sideways. It's a very prestigious title, and Mercedes did that for us. Jade held it for a very long time. Jade made it something. But Mercedes is taking it to TV. She's taking it to other promotions. She's taking it across the country, across the world.
She's making it as recognizable as the world title.
Exactly. And I think the TNT, the TBS, and both world titles are very top. There's not really like a secondary title as far as those four are concerned. And sometimes I wonder if the unified title is even above that.
Well, they're pushing it to be that. And I like that they're doing because this next match showcased, again, people forget about big match Okada until it happens, but probably the first candidate for match of the night came up. We had Okada defeating Takeshita and Mascara Dorada. Holy shit. Not only the tension you're teasing between Okada and Takeshita, because you know that breakup's coming and it's coming something fierce. Dorada is not from this fucking planet. And the chemistry all three of these men have, I think I was watching this match more just with my jaw on the floor, like I was a victim of the movie From the Ring, because I was just the entire fucking time with this match.
I usually play Monopoly Go or something on my phone. Rise to the top. I usually play something on my phone. My phone was not in my hand almost this entire night. I am shooketh on how little I had my phone out because that's how invested I was. And again, going into this pay-per-view, there wasn't something I wasn't knowing about. I very, very much have been paying attention, which my ADHD ass does not pay this much attention to anything anymore. So it's been very nice to be this focused and keyed in. And I think that this again is going to help play into the people that are starting to tune into AEW because other companies aren't as accessible. So tuning into AEW as a newcomer, I hope you're enjoying this. I freaking hope that you're seeing why we've been invested since 2019.
And look at AEW and triple threat matches. They rarely miss. It's every time there's been a triple match for the international title or for the unified, it's been fantastic. And again, big match Okada showed up. The heel Okada showed up. Takeshita showing why he won the G1 and why he's the future. And I hope Dorada is signed to one of those dual contracts like Heshiro is because, my God, you have Mystico, all this talent from CML that I didn't know a lot about that now I'm seeing. I understand why Mexico is fucking in love with these people and why they get eruptions for cheers when they're in the ring. And again, give me all the flippy shit, inject it into my veins. I don't care if you don't like it. I love it. Because you know what? Wrestling is buffet, like I always say. If you don't like it, change the channel or wait for the next match. And honestly, there was nothing that was like change the channel for me, because then right after this, right after your heart rate's already at like 190 because of this match, they're like, oh, by the way, we're going to have a coffin match now.
One of my favorite spots of the night, Jon Moxley setting up a coffin, standing it up.
Oh, and Darby just darting out of the ring and knocking him into it.
And then they're both like legs out in the coffin, and you're like, is the match over?
Oh, technically, as we found out, the lid has to be closed all the way. There can't be a body part or pipe protruding. But
a lead pipe,
again,
by the way.
First of all, I think this is weird. Darby is now 4-2 in coffin matches because unfortunately Mox would pick up the win here. 2 straight coffin match losses for Darby, which is kind of uncanny. But he also has yet to beat Moxley, so that chip is still on his shoulder. So this ain't done, and I'm going to put it out here, right now. I don't even know what date it is. September 20th? September 21st? The next match we're getting with Darby and Moxley is an exploding barbed wire death match, because you know that chaps Tony Khan's ass that fucking ending to Revolution was kind of like a fizzle and a fart and a pop. I'm telling you, because what other way can you fucking end this feud? We are getting an exploding barbed wire death match.
And if Eddie's not part of that with Darby,
that would be a great role reversal of fortunes. That'd be fantastic.
Also, we need to discuss something major that happened that
Matt Cardona?
I actually didn't hate as much as I did a year ago.
What's that?
Katy Perry.
Oh, do you mean my Nostradamus, whatever we're calling it, my tinfoil?
Yeah.
When I was like, what did Bryan Danielson whisper? That he had a plastic bag for Jon Moxley's ass, and he did. He put a bag over his... Now, I was wrong. It wasn't Bryan who got to get the payback, but Bryan is the one who gave him a bag with the goodies in it. And it was a sight to see the heel finally get what he's been doing to other people. And we thought that this is how Darby's going to win. I was so excited. And there was a bastard that you predicted by accident to come back.
I didn't want it.
With a haircut, by the way. I don't think I've seen him with short hair since he was Neville.
Yeah, he literally looked like Neville came back to life. I was like, oh, is that Pac? Oh, it is. It is. And Cam goes, who is that? Because he looks so different.
And what worries me is he wasn't in his gear. When have you ever seen Pac just not randomly in his gear? I've seen him in photos in London. He's walking around London in his gear. So is this a new look, new attitude for Pac?
Again, the Death Riders have really been turning a stone as far as their appearances go. And
they're like Pokemon. They're evolving.
They are. And I think that this is something, again, to be pointing out. And how much they helped Moxley in this match shows why it is so important to have stipulations like Hangman Adam Page had.
And I think, too, that's going to be kind of another one that they have to look into in the future is, well, are we going to get a match where they bar people from ringside, but then there was someone else going to debut? Because as a lot of you guys kind of point out in our comment sections, the interference is getting old for Moxley, but that's going to be his downfall because no one helped Darby. That was my big takeaway. No one fucking helped Darby.
I thought somebody was in the coffin. I kept waiting for that coffin to open
up.
Oh,
we found out why it was there. Poor dude got a razor's edge from the ring onto the coffin, and I don't think I've ever been squeamish, and that one made me turn away.
Darby in general, he does more and more every time. Again, this is why that exploding barbed wire death match would be really great, actually.
He's reminds me of like Bruce Willis from that movie Unbreakable. Remember, he can't be hurt except for water. That's where he reminds me of. It's like he just gets thrown around and he doesn't get injured. It's a very classic movie. But I loved it because then afterwards, I don't know how it happened because he was put into a body bag, put into the coffin, and that's why Mox won. But then backstage we see Moxley in that same body bag and Darby fucking set him on fire.
Yeah, like somehow Darby escaped it and then put Moxley into it with the lead pipe. And then he went to take the pipe again and went to beat the shit out of him and then realized there were flammables nearby. And a man with a flamethrower license is sure to find some fire.
I think Darby just enjoys setting people on fire at this point. And he kind of teased it because when he did the All Out, when he challenged Moxley, he wrote his name in blood and set the wall on fire. So another crazy one. Could it be an Inferno match that they have for their next one? Where you have to set your opponent on fire to win. So that's why I'm thinking
is that
exploding.
where they had, not AEW necessarily had this, but Flaming Tables. They had the flames around the ring. Is
they
that
had
an
like a little
Inferno?
trough with gas, and they just have, so when they hit the ring, the fire would go up. The Fiend's done it. Undertaker and Kane have done it.
That Undertaker Kane is the one I'm really thinking of. Okay.
So again, I don't think it, but I feel like they're
AEW
hinting.
does their own thing on these most of the time, so I could see a fire match.
Tables, ladder, and fire, like some crazy combination.
Like,
oh, see, but with Darby, I feel like this is Darby when he's in the idea of pitching. What kind of stipulation you want? Yes. No, Darby. What kind of stipulation you want? Everything. Well, what do you mean everything? If I can blow it up, I want to use. Like, he's just.
Can Charlie design it?
Yeah, right. Can Charlie make it? Yeah, Charlie can make everything, and he can. So shout out to the props department. Shout out to everything because, again, it was entertaining. And then we talked about earlier feel good moments, and I am so glad that I was right. I was wrong on her joining the Death Riders, but I'm so glad it opened my heart. I told y'all that last week when Statlander came out and cut the promo that I was no longer on Team Hater. Not that I don't support Hater, but I knew Statlander was winning because when she said it's been 4 years since I've challenged for this title, all I could think of was all her struggles and her tribulations from both her knee injuries to having the flu at Revolution and against Nyla Rose to finally getting that TBS title, finally solidifying herself. We had a great 4-way match, 4 excellent women, crazy spots, great match with Statlander doing a moonsault off the fucking apron, Tekla getting speared off the apron by Hater, and then she uses Yuta's backpack pin or seatbelt pin, excuse me, and Statlander's the new fucking champion. Like I think Chris Statlander, our girl, is the champion.
Yeah, and there's a lot to go over with this as far as like little details go. You had Tekla, who's newer, really, really showing off her skills and what she can do.
Loved it.
And I think that it's really awesome that we had somebody that's one of the newest members of AEW in the Women's Championship title match. Because I think that shows that it doesn't matter how long you've been there. We had somebody that was homegrown since 2019, 20-ish. She wasn't there at the very beginning, but she was there pretty much at the start. And then you've got Jamie Hayter, who came in around, like, I want to say 2021.
Another OG.
Yeah, she's very much homegrown-y.
If it wasn't for the pandemic, she would have been there the whole time.
Yes, exactly. You've got
Toni Storm, who broke out.
Who, again, she was doing phenomenal things, but...
And that had career resurgence.
She came into AEW and has reinvented herself a few different times and elevated and elevated and elevated. And I'm curious, the shock that Toni had on her face, she was smiling.
She was shook, though.
But she was smiling almost again, like she was just like in shock. And last year at All In, after Mariah May won the title from her, she disappeared. So is she going to be gone with the wind? Or does Chris, who later on went on the press conference and said, or the media scrum,
same thing,
she wants a piece of Toni in a singles match because she has defeated her in multi-women matches, but not in a singles match.
I was going to say they've never faced off one-on-one. That's right. Here's my thought, though. You want to bring in Wendy Richter. What if Wendy Richter comes in and kind of be a mentor to Toni to get her back into her groove, and you get like a mommy dearest type of story, or you get some sort of mentor? Because I'm not saying we're going to see Wendy Richter lace up the boots because, I don't know what her training level is and if she wants to wrestle. But even getting her like what we saw Bubbles or like a Tyson or
just like to slap Toni out of it.
Or just even being in vignettes with Luther. Like there's so many things you could do. And I think this is what I'm excited for. Not only am I excited to see Saturday night reigns complete because again, it would happen on Saturday night. Statlander, I can't wait to see this reign. I'm excited to see what comes with Tekla and Hater.
Are we going to talk about the media scrum?
We will in a little bit. Because Tekla and Hater, they had their chemistry going, and that they're going to, if you think about when Hater was taken out, it was Tekla who debuted and took her out. And then it was Tekla who essentially cost Hater the match. So now you have that storyline set up. Toni could kind of go in that wayside of going crazy again, changing her character, and then Chris Statlander is going to welcome all challengers. I think it's going to be a great run.
I do as well, and I'm excited to have her not join the Death Riders.
She joined the Death Riders.
However, she mentioned straight up that she's still open to being with Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor in hopes that they can get back together.
And I've been saying there's going to be a best friends reunion for like a year now. It's going to fucking happen.
She used the seatbelt pin.
Which you and Orange Cassidy do use. Yes, I know Orange Cassidy uses it too.
And made sure to say that other people.
But isn't that what someone who's lying to you would say? Is they're going to justify it? I'm just saying. It still could happen. But
Don't gaslight me.
Maybe Willow gets her first title defense too? As kind of a way of saying, fine. This is what you want. You want a shot at me? You get a shot at the title. Again, we have Wrestle Dream coming in
Willow
October.
I could see Willow taking it in that kind of a way.
I would hope it would be right away, though. It would have to be a long term.
Away, but...
Could you maybe see Mercedes going after her because she has belt? Then Statlander finally okay, I'll put my title on the line. Maybe Mercedes doesn't put her TBS on the line, but then Mercedes loses and Statlander finally gets that victory over Mercedes that she hasn't got. There's a lot of things they can do. I'm excited for it. Again, saw her at Limitless while we were getting into AEW. We watched her wrestle Jody Threat, had a fantastic match. We became super fans of her being an alien. So to see her hold gold was so much more special.
And I really enjoy that she's been doing things with Harley because I think that her and Harley together, she said that that's her only person she can trust at the moment. That's the only person she's really working with at this very moment. And she's entrusted with Harley.
Give Harley a match.
So I think that the comedy that's coming out of this and the big feel-good moments with Harley and her together are going to really elevate Chris's run because Chris is kind of like a dry person. I have dry humor as well. Very dry personality. Nothing wrong with that. So to add Harley in there to give her that little bit of something, it'll be nice.
So do you think maybe this is our first female custom women's championship? Do you think we get a cool Galaxy looking belt? I'm not saying she's gonna go full blown alien, but she has new music, she has new gear, new aesthetic. The poster she won very much old, meshing her more than a woman vibe, but also her alien colors. How cool would it be to get a Galaxy belt? Even if they just spray painted the strap, when they do that art where it's black and it's looks like stars because of the spray paint. Give her a cool looking belt. How cool would that be?
I don't know because are we talking about the next match?
Well, we have to get into the next match, the ladder match, because that's what's next on the list. I was just asking about.
Oh, that's right, the ladder match.
So, do you think before we get to the ladder match, do you think it'd be cool to see your Galaxy belt?
I haven't seen the other one I've been hoping to see, so I don't want to get my hopes up.
Well, unfortunately, I think the reason why, and I'll tell you when we get to that match why. I think there's a valid reason why. I found out last night. So we'll get to the ladder match again. We talked about these match nights. Another match of the night contender.
I've watched it twice already.
I've between highlights and that probably 3 times for me too.
Yeah.
And probably the best ladder match of the year, probably behind the SummerSlam one. Probably the best match in the last 2 years. It was just fantastic. It was a car crash. It was everything you wanted.
Speedball's toes.
Wear shoes, my dude. Wear shoes. This is the match you wear shoes in. The Sonic and Tails gear that they had.
Every little detail.
Brodido being reckless and creating spots on the fly where towards the end of the match where he goes to Brody, give me that ladder. And he does a moonsault with the ladder into the Bucks. Brody doing a package pile driver onto the ladder with Speedball. And then you have Speedball flipping out onto Brodido and Brody saving him. You have poor Kevin Knight getting dumped out. There were spots in this match I've never seen before.
They picked up the ladder, 4 of them, with Knight
and
on
moved
top
him and dumped him.
What? And then, okay, there was a big miss here. Because if you didn't notice, when Brodido was on Brody's shoulders, he could reach the title belt.
That would have been a cool way to win.
I would have loved to see that kind of a win.
And if you haven't seen this match, if you can only see one match because you're pressed for time, this is probably the one match you need to see first.
For real, yeah. Watch
it was
this.
So good. All these tag teams, it showed how healthy our tag team division is. AEW's tag team division is. And, Brodido would win and the Bucks would be a little disappointed, but then, as the Bucks getting ready to leave, who would slide in the ring? But the person we've both been saying, Jack fucking Perry's back, giving him the double birds, taking him out. But no. The Bucks kind of caught, thanks to Rocky Romero, kind of were able to stop him, and he was by himself, 2-on-1.
They're about to.
Through the BTE trigger, and he's got a shit-eating grin on his face. The lights go out, and just like Forbidden Door, but we saw the full video this time. Jack Perry's digging up a grave, and he's dragging a coffin with his bus back to the laboratory, and Jack Perry's the one who revived Luchasaurus, and Luchasaurus is back, and he takes out the Bucks, and then Jurassic Express fucking reunites. It happens. They hug. Tarzan boy.
He threw his kill switch name into the crowd.
Everything. Luchasaurus is back. He's got the green. We got Tarzan boy. That crowd. This is why they brought them back. Did you see that crowd? They were all waving, doing the oh. I'm not going to do it and make people turn out of this video, but holy crap. Again, this is, especially, we were talking about, this was such a love letter to AEW Day One fans. And again, if you're not an AEW Day, it's not that it's bad, but this is showing you why we became so passionate.
So if you're a newer fan and you're somehow finding our podcast fantastic, love this for you and us. If you're a newer fan to AEW and did not get to see this Jurassic Express run, you really should just go back to the very, very beginning, because Marco Stunt being a part of them was really awesome. Their whole chemistry, being able to throw each other around, Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus having their iconic entrance together, every little detail. You don't need to watch the Marco Stunt stuff, but just their chemistry you will love, and it's a feel good everything about them. I was a Luchasaurus fan from the very start of seeing him do a tail whip with his kicks.
I mean, that's, you can even go,
so good.
You can even go back to one of the original All Outs and watch Jurassic Express vs. Young Bucks. Or you can watch Full Gear with Adam Cole, the Young Bucks, and Christian, Jungle Boy, and Luchasaurus. And again, they had the tag team title match in the ladder match. So they've had matches where you can go back against the Bucks, and we're going to get it again at Wrestle Dream. And you'll see why this was, besides the Acclaimed, there's never been probably a more over babyface tag team that was red hot week to week. I would say it was Jurassic Express, the Acclaimed, and I don't know, maybe Swerve in Our Glory really for like crowd reactions, but Jurassic Express, you have the crowd moving during the entrance, and with Jack Perry evolving his character, I mean, I don't think we're gonna get, Jungle Boy, like clean shaven. I think we're still gonna get the gritty Jack Perry and the more evolved Luchasaurus. So I'm here to see how they've kind of evolved this. I mean, dinosaurs normally hate evolution, but Luchasaurus has evolved.
He really has evolved. I love it.
I just will say, I didn't think anything could really make me audibly go, holy fuck, out loud still in 2025. And both Emily and I, as soon as Lucha appears in the ring, and that crowd is just, they knew it was coming, and they were eating it up, and Tarzan Boy hits, we're so fucking back. Not that we went anywhere, but we're so fucking back. And Will Ospreay said last year, we say it on every podcast, restore the feeling. And I said this year has been, the feeling is restored. Now they're rewarding all the people who stayed with them or joined the train. This is what AEW is. And before we get to the main event, I want to say really quickly, AEW focusing on themselves, being true to their identity, being true to their core, is why I think this year has been one of the best years they've had in a long time.
They've gone back a little bit as far as who they're showcasing and who they're showing off, because they saw what worked in the beginning, and they know to continue that is going to work again.
And it's great, too, because you wouldn't think a 6-year-old company could get a nostalgia pop, or and I'm not saying have all of this, but to get that feel-good moment, because people have been wanting Jurassic Express. If you listen to the show for any more than 5 minutes, Emily's been wanting Jurassic Express back since Killswitch joined the patriarchy.
Since Cage came in. I wanted Cage kicked out, not Perry.
And just even go back and watch Jack Perry versus Luchasaurus in that cage match, and you can see their chemistry together. And I'm just excited for it. Again, it's more lifeblood in this tag division that's already becoming more stacked. And now Brodido's got to watch out, because there's a fucking dinosaur coming after them.
Very, very true.
And then we would get to the main event.
Another reason that's how they should have won the tag titles.
That would have been a great first, imagine they lose it right away. Or they couldn't afford to carry them, so they lost the belts. Imagine if
Brodido winning it by shoulders on their shoulders.
True.
And then losing it to the shoulders.
And they had a chicken jockey almost. They kind of were all playing chicken, so there was lots of good shit to it. And I excited, because then You know, it's starting to get late towards the end of the night. It's main event, and you know the crowd seemed a little tired, but once Hangman hit the ring, that crowd perked right up and didn't stop. And first of all, I just want to talk about, you had Kyle Fletcher trying to hit Hidden Blade. You had Hangman hitting swerves moves like the house call and big pressure. You had them using their rivals finishers. You had them almost going to a time limit draw. Kyle Fletcher probably dropped on his head like 33 times. You had dead eyes through tables. You had absolute insanity. Kyle Fletcher fucking proved beyond a shadow of a doubt he is a main eventer and that he is a top star. Hangman looked like he had so much respect for him after, like, even in and out of kayfabe, when he was leaned down talking to him. I'm gonna ask. I just gave my thoughts on that. So it was fantastic. What were your thoughts on this main event?
I loved it. I am so thankful that no one could get involved. Kind of was hoping to see Kyle break a little bit, because we all know, Don Callis, you have half the fucking roster. Time to give
You
some
really
up.
do. And it was such a strong main event. It was such a great pay-per-view top to bottom. And I'll put this out in the universe. AEW had more respect for John Cena this weekend than another place did. And that's just the sad nature of 2025. And I'm not trying to say it to be mean, but it really shows that when you listen to your fans even a little bit and you try to, I'm not saying cater to the fans, but give them moments that the fans enjoy, like All In, Hangman winning the title, getting Jurassic Express back, Chris Statlander winning a title, banger TV shows, storylines that connect, women getting more time, tag team division be revitalized. When you listen to the actual criticisms and complaints, the things that, hey, we'd like to see more of this, we'd like to see more of this.
Our tag division is redesigned all over again across the board. Like, every single tag division right now is on fire.
And it just shows when you sift through the bullshit complaints and you sift through it, like, it's okay to be critical of something you like, because we've been critical too, but we're not dumping on it. And that's what this pay-per-view showed, is that when they focus on their identity, when AEW focuses on AEW and blurs out the noise, and they did a great job blurring out the noise, they delivered from top to bottom. They let their product speak for themselves. Again, the incredible roster depth this pay-per-view showed, the top to bottom, how good this roster is, the feel-good moments, every match meaning something and feeling good. I said 8.5. I'm gonna change it to a 9. I'm gonna say 9 out of 10 for this pay-per-view. What about you?
I'm thinking the exact same way. I want to touch on the media scrum again.
Go for it.
If you are lucky enough to get in there to ask a question, why are you asking about the other company? You could be at the other show watching. You can go to their media. You can go do whatever you want to do as far as that other company's concerned.
Are you talking about they asked about counterbooking?
Leave them out of it. AEW isn't acknowledging them, so why are you?
And
you're the problem. Like, you are the problem.
And I think it is valid to ask I would say their thoughts on it, but I think time and place. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think the media call was the best place they asked it beforehand to Tony.
They just put on this amazing killer pay-per-view, celebrate the people that were here in this company
I
putting
will
this on.
give props to the way they all answered it, because I heard a couple of those clips.
Oh yeah, it's not about the answers, it's about why.
But I think that's every media scrum. Like they just, people that, I think there was one media scrum where somebody asked about someone else winning a title, and the person was like, "Congratulations, I haven't seen that yet." But I think it is time and place, and I think it's really one of those things where everyone's going to have thoughts and opinions on counterbooking. I think AEW does the best thing they do is say, we're just going to let our product speak for itself. We're going to let our card speak for itself. And it did. And, some good could come out of this. They're talking about maybe making these 3 o'clock pay-per-views more commonplace on Saturdays. And I know some people don't like that, but they've had success. And according to Tony, this was one of the most successful things in HBO. HBO is very happy with how it performed. They had an increased number of buy rates. So again, it's working, and I think they're going to focus on what works, and that's better for us, because if they're focusing on things that work, it means we're going to get a good product.
Yeah, and speaking of good product, if you're looking for a library, if you're looking for everything all in one place, HBO Max has almost everything uploaded now.
Yep, they're still working on the AEW Dynamites. They're on year 20. They're going to be, as of next Friday. Well, we're going to hear this tonight, but as of next Friday, the 26th, they will have 2021 of rampages, so including First Dance, including some of the iconic rampages like Christian Cage losing the title, TNA title to winning TNA title, excuse me. So they have all the pay-per-views up to Revolution 2025, and all the weekly TV is starting to be uploaded. So it's a great library. But you know what else is a good library? Subscribing to us at cwkpod.com, where you get all of our episodes ad-free, or our YouTube. Please make sure you give us a like, a follow, subscribe. Every little bit helps. Even commenting saying, you suck, you did a great job, whatever, helps us out. We appreciate it. And we love doing this. We've been doing this for close to 3 years now, and next month, by the way. And I love it. I absolutely love it. I love that I get to talk wrestling with my wife, and we get to have fun and chat with you guys about it.
I like that we get to put our own spins on things and just be able to talk about something that we're passionate about. I went to work this morning and showed some poor 22-year-old girl pictures from the Thumbtacks and Tables match.
She's probably like, what the fuck
Alex,
do you watch?
I'm so sorry.
She's like, what the fuck do you
she
watch?
Was like, it's just what they did. I don't know how to explain it. It's so stuck in my head. I can't believe
it's stuck in Mark
this.
Briscoe's head too.
I loved during the conglomeration segment out back how Harley was like picking pieces out of him.
Yeah.
You
see, Harley, we got me conglomerating. I got these tacks in my head. Don't be hating.
there's like so much that goes into AEW as a whole that I share with my guests, and as a server, that is not something I normally would ever think to do. But sometimes the pay-per-views are just so good. Someone's like, hey, what's in wrestling world right now? And I love that my regulars talk to me about wrestling.
And if you ever want match recommendations, if you are newer to AEW, if you just started watching this pay-per-view or this month or if you want match recommendations, slide into our DMs or put a comment, say, what match should I watch with this person? We'll give you our best recommendation of what we liked. And sometimes if you do it on our Facebook page or our Twitter, people will give you recommendations as well.
We have a great community that we've built.
And I love it because there's been recommendations they've given to us. So also check on that Patreon, because Is It That Bad? The segment I do where I watch some of the most universally hated matches and give you my thoughts. And people have been giving me those. So I love the community. We had over 50 people participate in our pick'ems. I have to look to see if anyone got perfect, because I don't know. I don't know if they did. But stay tuned, because if someone got perfect, maybe we'll have a little gift package to send you out as a thank you, and we'll get in contact with you. That was our
giveaway. We did a funny picture giveaway, and that was it. I apologize we did not recognize that sooner. But whoever got the best score, we are going to be sending out a little care package.
It'll be fun. I think you'll enjoy it. We appreciate everything. Again, please make sure you give this 5-star Frog Splash review. Give us a like, follow, subscribe, all that other jazz. Until next time.